Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. In this video, I'm going to talk about another bargain second-hand projector, but this time things are different. This is 4800 ANSI lumen. You heard me right. This is a quite bright projector. It is long throw, and I'm projecting ultra short throw projector screen with a little bit of angle. Normally, it should be lowered. The reason is it's easier to shoot like this to this video. Otherwise, I should have gotten a small table and I will be in the front, but the table just gives me comfort. So normally this is not the ideal projection angle for this ALR ultra short throw screen that I use normally with Epson LS300. You all know by now. So, but even that shows a great picture considering the brightness level. This is a lit environment. As you can see, two bulbs are open, and at the back and at the bottom of the TV unit, we got Philips Hue setup. So later on, I will change the lights too. Let me just tell you the spec. This is Panasonic, by the way. The Panasonic VZ570, the model number. So this is a UXGA resolution. So it means it's above Full HD. It is 1980 to 1200, which means a little more on the vertical side of resolution. It is 16 by 10 as a ratio. It's not 16 by 9 cinematic ratio. That's why a little bit of upwards. But I'm going to talk about why the visual is not fitting the screen. I didn't waste too much of a time just to make the measurements because I will project huge wall picture with this. This is not suitable for small images. I will talk all about it. So this is a bargain projector. When I say bargain, some people think bargain starts from, let's just say 150 to 200. If you buy a second-hand Aston Martin, that'll cost you. So you should be looking at the bargain, the specs that you're buying. Like if it's a Porsche like 5 or 6 years old with a good condition, it's still Porsche. So this is not an entry-level projector. This is, even in the second hand, will cost you probably about $300 plus range, depending on where you buy it, depending on how much the condition is, depending on how much the bulb life that you got. So it is not a cheap projector, but it is kind of like could be a bargain for you. I will take a look at close-ups, physical qualities, and project a huge image because this thing is intended to project huge images. I will come in a couple of minutes. The 4800 ANSI lumen was the reason that I purchased 4. But probably I will give it away. I will sell this later on because it's not suitable too much for, let's just say, standard home use, because this thing is built for bigger images. When I say bigger, I'm going to come to this topic. It is 4.8 kilos. The specs will be written on the page somewhere, the 4.8 kilos. So this is not a small projector. When I say not a small, we could think about like, there are projectors like entry level, like let's just say one hand plus little bit size, but there are projectors like, in my earlier review, Epson TW7000, it's bigger than normal projector size that you used to have with the bulb ones, and there are bigger projectors like GVCs and Barcos. Those are huge. So I'm not talking about the fully professional Sony and GVC style, but this is still considered big in my opinion. 4.8 kilos, not a light thing either, but the fan noise is 37 decibels on the specs, and I can easily say this is one of the silent projectors that I use with this powerful like 4800 ANSI lumen level. This is by far one of the most silent models. And the bulb lives, they say it's about 7,000. And we're going to look at that. We got 2 HDMI ports. We got horizontal and vertical length shifts. It says for the A version, mine isn't just standard, but I can also do vertical shifting here with the knob, as you can see. I haven't checked the horizontal length shift. I didn't need it, but basically this thing is built for outside big screens. It's not tended to build for home use. I will come into that. 10,000 to 1, the contrast ratio, but I didn't feel it. Like this is the maximum contrast ratio. Basically my eye is not feeling it. I'm not going to compare them, you know, the lightest part and the darkest part. It could give it to you. I could test that and try to create a measurement in the middle of the calculation section. And this is not overall just my conclusion. I will give my conclusion in the end. But this video will be kind of like long, and I will also later on compare this projector with the regular home use projector. But in this video, I will also share my opinions, my early opinions. 1.6x zoom. So it is quite similar to Epson TW7000 that I reviewed early, and probably similar to Full HD versions, Epson TW5900 version, like big projectors with the 1.6x zoom. This zoom will give us quite a bit of large zoom going back and forth capabilities. So these things are most of the time built to create huge images. I will come into that again. So probably I covered the technical specs of this device, and I will tell you one more thing. Around here, this is a 3 LCD, by the way, 3 LCD projector. This means you might think this will deliver great colors and stuff, but like I said, this is not designed to give you the perfect image in a home cinema setup. This is built for big picture. When I say big picture, if you project big, you will like this projector. And it has also Crestron, so you can connect the Crestron system, and PG Link, it also supports that. So that way, this is built for, like, if you can map a couple of projectors with a big image. I might create a different tutorial video maybe in the future with a couple of projectors. You can create big images, over mapping the screens, and create a wall size images like meters and meters going left and right, huge screens with a couple of projectors. These things are built to create, like I said, huge images. So this thing is basically designed to create outside visions, or if you have a dedicated cinema with 5-meter wall, like 6-meter wall, maybe even larger, this can fill it up. So in the video, in the test section, I will show you the size difference. But the reason that I'm shooting this video in advance, I thought 4,800 NC lumen and the price is kind of like a bargain. Yes, it is. If you can find a good condition like mine in a decent price, this could be a bargain. These things are built like tank. Panasonic, NEC, and big projectors are kind of like built like tank. So these are very silent, have big filters, big optics, big sensors. So everything just, you know, you tick every box out of the way. But the one thing is missing. You can't understand the throw ratio, whether you can use it in home or the outside. Let me just give you an example. If you hit the menu button here, okay, you see the text with a little bit of glow around the edges. Let me just show you how much zoom that I can do. Okay, this is the zoom level. 1.6x zoom is this. Right now, this is about 55-inch TV level, okay? I'm getting very small. And if I focus it, it feels like it's focusing, but it's not perfectly sharp there. The focus ring is very small. So it is, most of the time, this thing is like projecting 3-meter image or maybe 4-meter image and then squeeze it down like 3 meters or 2.5-meter image. So still this is built like, let's just say 160-inch image and then go like 130-inch image. These things are built like big images. If you don't understand, and probably most of the PDF files don't tell you the whole story, in my opinion, because you can't really find these spots like minimum focal distance, okay? This projector supports distance from 2.5 to 3.8, it says, as a meter wise, and it has a kind of like a wide angle positioning, because right now the distance between the screen and this is about probably less than a little bit of 3 meters. And still, if I zoom out, I will show it to you. If I zoom it out, I can clearly create, let me just here focus it on as much as possible. I am seeing the pixels sort of. Okay, here we are. The image is about 100 right now. The screen is 92, and since we are getting outside the screen, it's about 100 inch from less than 3 meters. That's a good throw ratio. I will show you, I'm talking general here. I haven't measured it, but this thing is basically wide angle like Epson TW650. When I say wide angle, this is not a short throw, but obviously this is not a long throw like my Epson TW7000. It has a longer throw ratio. But the problem is not that. What you think when you can focus like wide angle, when you zoom in, you think you can focus, right? But it might not happen. If you think about the like camera optical lenses, you might be able to wide angle and focus, and when you zoom in, you might not be able to focus the same distance because you're zooming too much in and your minimal focal distance might not match the lens specs. So that's what happened to me. I will show you in the big screen size, like you can create 5-meter image with this wide very easily, but when you zoom in with the distance, you cannot focus and you get a blurry image. But when you go big, you can see the pixels, you can see the frames, you basically see the focus way better. That was something I haven't even include my setup, like, because when you check it out, like you look at the distance, what the image can do, and then you think, okay, the minimal focus distance, maximum focus distance, those are specs. But when you realize in the home setup, you don't most of the time need above 150-inch image. At least in my case, my setup, basically 135 is good for my room size. I'm using this in a 35 square meter room. So my visual distance is normally from this angle 4.5 meters roughly. And from that angle to my new screen, which you will see in the other videos, upcoming videos hopefully, probably about the similar, like 4.5, 4.7 up top if I push the couch back. So definitely you don't want to go above 150 from 5 meters. So you will be like in front of the theater, but it can't focus on that distance. So that's a problem. Like if you want to focus, you have to go wide. When you go too wide, you can't watch it in the home setup. So once you decided that, if you have a chance, before the purchase in the secondhand, try to create your home size image with the zoom in and the zoom out settings if it's going to be successful for your setup. Because I've tried it, the wider I go with the lens, the image is much sharper, and the narrower I get with the zoom for the same size in the home setup, it just gets blurry because of the minimal focus distance when you zoom in don't match perfectly to my home distance. So in my opinion, especially this model, you're going to find the description at the below. If you have better opinions, like better experience with this device since I bought it secondhand, you can write at the comment section of this video and share your opinion about the Panasonics and NEC devices, like professional level of use most of the time outside cases. So who is this projector for then? If you're going to project your back wall, like outside the home, like a backyard movie days, okay, if you can pull out power cable like with an extender outside of the home, this will be great. Like you can project 5-meter huge image with this in a night time because it has more power than regular projectors like 4800 amps lumen. I haven't measured my performance because it is about above 800 hours of lifetime of its lamp right now, but I will check the measurements. But I also find out that the contrast levels are not matching my early cinema style home projectors. So basically, when you go too bright, like my old Epson Bright series, for home use, like ultra short throw, I've tested it. it wasn't a too much contrast projector, but it was around 3000 ANSI lumen ultra short throw. It was bright, it was good. So you can use these projectors with the ALR screen like this, because this ALR screens and gray screens will create the contrast gap, like close that contrast gap with the gray color and the contrast of their own. So if you have a gray screen, you might consider this sort of powerful projector. But if you're not having a gray screen or a darker colored, like darker gray, or let's just say lighter gray color wall, if you're going to project on a white wall on a home use, I don't want to recommend you if you're not going to go too big. But if you're going to go big, this might help you out on the way. So you're going to see in a couple of minutes with a huge wall setup how it performs in dimly lit or maybe dark room, and in a lit environment how it performs. You're going to witness all this and you're going to get a clear idea. For my opinion, this is not like a usable setup for basically around 135-inch image size. You can really get away with home projectors about 3000 ANSI lumen. If you're going to purchase this, if you're going to have in a upcoming days like a bulb cost, because this is a high level bulb, mercury bulb, the cost of the bulb will be higher. So replacing the cost of the bulb will be higher, and also you're going to use much more energy, electricity, since powering it up. If you're not going to need that, you can use regular home cinema projectors. But this was just something that I wish to test, and I've tested so far. Am I happy with the results? Yes, I am happy considering what it delivers for the price. This is a good projector, but it's not suiting for my home cinema setup. If you have a great big wall, like over 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters, if you have distance to watch, and if you have place to place this big thing on, then you're ready to go. You are lacking, by the way, USB power port, because these things are most of the time designed to connect the PC or some sort of like input device, because it's not designed for dongles. Like if you're going to add a smart function from a HDMI dongle, this is not the device. It doesn't have the USB port on it. You should again look for home style projectors, like last couple of years bulb style, last 5 years bulb style projectors. But this is like a professional level, kind of like a matching projector. So when you keep all these in mind, let me just show you what it can deliver in a big picture on a huge wall, how successful it is. And we will end this video with a couple of tests and conclusion part. And I probably made a half conclusion in the beginning, and you probably seen some of the shots of this projector. And I will create some sort of YouTube videos, 4K footages. I will project in a big wall, and let's see how it goes. And then let me know what you think at the comment section below. And don't skip any parts if you are wanting to learn more about this big, powerful projector style, kind of like potentially, because many of the BenQ, Epson, ViewSonic, and NEC, Panasonic, it doesn't matter, ultra bright projectors like over 4000 ANSI lumen level projectors, they tend to be used on outside with huge screen sizes in after evening, because you don't need this much of a power in the office. If you're not going to open up all the lights, open up all the curtains, you don't need this much of a power. 3000 ANSI lumen will be enough, probably, with a little bit of darker gray or light gray screen or ALR screen. Even with the white wall, you can use it for office use, like you can project Excel and stuff. This is way powerful, so this has dedicated purpose. This sort of devices has dedicated purposes, and the bulbs are expensive, and the projectors are not even that cheap when you go secondhand. So when I say bargain, it's bargain for what it delivers, and it's bargain compared to a brand new version of the same projector. And these are still sold, by the way, like, because if you want 5000 ANSI lumen kind of like high power output, these are still quite usable in the market. So without further ado, let's go to the big screen and take a look what it can deliver. In this menu section, we are again looking at the Panasonic menu. When I hit the menu button, you're seeing it easily. This is VZ570 from Panasonic, and the basic menu shows picture, position, language, display option, projector setup, security, and network. And again, when the picture menu is on, as you can see, this is the standard menu, and I push to change the settings to get the best. And the contrast is +10, which basically, if I go a little back, as you can see, you're going to see a lot more from the clouds, since these scenes are showing, as you can see, more of a dynamic range, because basically Xbox Series X is trying its best. And the brightness is -10. I can push the brightness to the 0. Let's just check the 0. So you can find extreme brightness for this. It is basically delivering Epson LS300 level of brightness, but it's not an ultra short throw. It is throwing this quite from close up. So normally what I do is I do it -10 because I don't want brightness, I want contrast. So if I hit OK, I go back and I go for the contrast. I try to push it to 10. This is what my style is for gaming and stuff. And the color is +8 because when you push a brightness or the contrast, you lose a little bit. And the sharpness is +15. Well, this is a full HD projector and I want to see sharp as much as possible. Iris is on right now. And when we go to the advanced menu, you can adjust contrast of red, green, blue, and brightness of red, green, blue separately. So daylight view is off right now. You can make it on. And as you can see, this is RGB and A, P, B, and R. It's in the auto mode. So if I do it, it just screws everything. So if I go RGB, I think the auto is better. You don't need anything else. So this is about that. And I'm going to go back one menu. The position, real-time keystone is off right now, but you can make it on. It's probably automatically correcting the keystone of vertical. I'm not sure about the horizontal, but when you do it on, it just does it. As you can see, it did. Let me just open it up again. It's doing this. So it's a good stuff, because when you want to correct big images, it takes time. We got keystone, corner correction, and curved correction. So since this is a big device for big screens, like I told you, 300 and above in the different section of this video, this definitely needs a curved or corner surface correction. So I'm hitting back. Overscan is, you can adjust, as you can see, shift, dot clock, clock frame. And language, we got nearly every language possible. Display option, on-screen display. HDMI signal level right now is auto. Screen settings, 16:9. Normally this device 16:10, and screen position is center. Startup logo is default. It's up to you. And signal search is on, so automatically if I open up the Xbox or give anything from HDMI, it just finds itself. That's good. I leave it on. Back color, P timer, and other functions. When you hit other functions, TV and AV mute. Doesn't have too much of a function there. And when you go down, projector functions. Let's hit it. So we got the signal and the specs. As you can see in the middle of the screen right now, the projector is 889 hours. And the lamp is used about 500 hours plus eco mode. And the normal mode is about 300 plus. So you're also seeing the serial number of this projector. So nobody can fool you because there is a chip on the bulb, and if it's a good device, you're going to see it from this settings. Of course, you have to check the rest of this device and check the image quality. Initial startup, less memory, front desk. And projection method is always something that you should be lookout for. When you hit for details, when you go in, as you can see, you can change it. Again, I'm flipping the visual, but if you're going to do it like the rest, again, front desk is fine for me. I don't want to lose time. So lamp power is right now is in the eco mode. If I push to normal, it just adds up about let's just say 10 to 15%. It's not for me. I will stay for the echo. Echo management, power management ready, 30 minutes and standby right now is in echo mode. Emulate, I guess these are like different projectors, and if you want to emulate the default settings of them. But of course, this is a professional projector. You might want to check the details of that. I don't want to spend time for that because I'm going to probably keep my life with this device a lot shorter than I expected. I don't need this much of a big screen. The function button, as you can see right now, is disabled. And we got audio settings. By the way, this device has 10 watts or sorry, 8 watts of speakers, and they're quite powerful if you want to use them. But again, they are lacking the bass, of course. It's not like it has a subwoofer, but basically it can cover it up for like TV use and stuff, or any kind of like gameplay, casual gameplay, if you're into that sort of thing. Filter counter is here. Timer is 7,000 hours, and filter counter is 28. And there's a filter counter reset. So it has done the life cycle of this device, like I told you. Initialize all as there is, and if I go that, security is password, text display and stuff, and the network is here. Crestron connected right now is off. Wired LAN and network control MXDD and status and initialize. So if you're into Crestron kind of like management, this is again a professional projector. So you might want to check the specs that you can do with this. So this is entire menu of the Panasonic VZ570. Okay, the battery of the camera is running out. This Panasonic is probably modern standard. Looks huge. Let me just take it hold of this thing, and it's covering my entire body. And when I take it close up, this thing is huge. As you can see, it has a big glass on the front and quite a bit of long legs on the front, because I opened that up to create adjustment. And on the top, you see the vertical lens shift button and all the buttons that you might need ever if you're going to, let's just do it like this. If you want to change anything, this is, by the way, where my hand is the lens shift. And when I hold it, whoa, this thing is huge and heavy, 4.8 kilos. So this is the back of the device, and you're seeing the HDMI ports and other connections and audio connections and the air ventilations and the power ports. And this is the below, so you can hang it on the ceiling. There are lots of holes and adjustments and stuff. So basically this is about it, and I don't think there will be extreme anything other than that to mention here in the video. 4.8 kilos, and I just was about to fall with it, not just the device. And on the side, I will just show you something interesting. You might want to get interesting to this. We got a cover, okay? So we got a huge air filter on the side. That's what I love about this sort of big professional devices. Let's just take it out, okay? This is the filter. So it's not getting dusty air in, and it's quite clean if you ask me, considering the age of this device. So basically, if you're buying something like this, these things are built like a rock to be used in many occasions, many places. So you can put it on a schoolroom, you can put it on a cinema room, and it won't be getting the dust. If you just use your vacuum cleaner time to time to clean these filters, you're going to be happy that you chose something like this. And the ventilation system is quite good. I didn't have any problem. I watched a couple of movies. I'm not going to say a lot maybe, but a couple of movies didn't have any problem, didn't have any heat problem, and also it was silent. So if you think it's going to be loud, no. The bigger things go, the fans are getting bigger and also reduce the sound. So I think these things are built like a tank if you find some good, decent, clean one. But if you don't, you might have problems. So this physical section is over. By the way, the remote control is tiny considering the other remotes in the market, as you can see. If you find original remote, I bought it in the second hand. So if you can't find it, these things are expensive. You just need a universal remote so you can match it up. And I showed it in the early short videos if you can go back and check it out. In this scene, I just want you to see, this is a 100-inch image. The screen is 92. This is an ALR screen and I'm giving 4K video. And I just want you to see how sharp the video is. Basically, the highlights are losing some of the details, and as you can see up top, this is not an extreme HDR footage, by the way. From the channel, you can check that video out by yourself. This is a sunny day footage, but it is lacking a little bit of contrast around the up top, as you can see, cloud area. So this is not a HDR style or HDR tuned, like you can drop down a little bit of setting and find out a little bit of more detail or contrast, kind of like a projector. But basically it's delivering television style brightness into your home. If you're going to use it around 100-inch, this will be extremely bright. You can use it in a lit room like this. The room is kind of like half lit right now. You can read stuff, but I would recommend like a little bit of higher light will be okay. These are ambient lights from hues and strips and stuff. But I just want to, right beside to it, set, as you can see, at least get an idea of a screen size that you can have, the brightness level that you can have. So if I push it again from the Forza Horizon 5 with the 100-inch of image, this is the image that you're going to get. So will this be making you happy or not? You're going to decide. I'm just giving you some examples. Next time, if you ever thought of this sort of stuff, I just want to let you know. Welcome to the last section of the Panasonic VZ570. I'm checking the model again. The picture that you see is 200 image, 4.5 and plus some. So this is 4.5 meter wide, 200-inch diagonal image, and the ambient lights are on. And also screen is huge, so it's bouncing back a lot of light, so you can easily see me. This is a huge screen for a room like this. This is a 30 meter to 40 square meter room, so this is not an extremely big room. Let me just close the ambient lights so you can see the better picture quality, and I'm closing the ambient lights. What is interesting, this is 4800 ANSI lumen projector. It's supposed to do big picture and bright picture. Let me just play a while, and I'm going to close the menu. By the way, I'm giving 4K YouTube videos through Xbox Series X. The source is 4K YouTube video. The signal is not 4K. The console is giving full HD signal to this device, but basically I'm throwing out a lot of 4K video detail. So you can do the same. I'm going to create another tutorial for that. But the 200-inch image, it performs quite good. And right now this is echo mode. Can you believe it? You can push it a little bit more. And what I'm going to show you is interesting. I know the light fixtures are killing some of the specs. I'm going to shoot a dedicated section, small section, to show you the menu of it. But this, right now it's in the standard menu, okay, standard picture mode. The contrast is +10. Brightness is -10. So I just pushed a little bit of contrast because this device is lacking contrast. I will tell you my conclusion. And also, as you can see, sharpness is 15, +15. So I try to push the sharpness because this is a full HD projector and I'm freaking throwing 200-inch image. This is huge. Normally, I don't recommend going 200 in a home cinema setup. But if you go way back, then there will be no problem. Like I can go way back, like 5 or 6 meters. I can easily watch this video where I sit from, because when you go far back, like 6 meters, you don't realize the potential pixelization issues because you're far away. So it's like the cinema. Many of the cinemas are still, they're getting better with 4K new projectors, but most of them around 2K. Just bear with me, like keep this in mind. You're watching from the cinema 2K footage. not 4K. So many of the big projectors they use, they might have bigger sensors like barcodes and stuff. They might have more powerful projectors to throw out a huge image, but they are using 2K around resolution. So that's why you can get away with something like this size or 300-inch size with this thing called Panasonic VZ, probably I'm telling it right, 570. So let's get back to the conclusion part. This device is 4800 ANSI lumen. I'm going to share the ANSI lumen measurements that I got. Since this is a secondhand, it's not going to be probably a matter because your copy will be different, my copy will be different. But for the secondhand, these devices are not cheap, so be careful when you're going to buy it. Check out the bulb. Bulbs has chips on them, so check out if there's any kind of like application or any kind of like signature, because if the professional service change the bulb, they will put a label on it probably. Check out the bulb life. They can't probably erase the bulb life. Mine has, in the second bulb, the first owner told me, they are in the second bulb right now. It's in the second bulb of its life, 800 hours. So it's not brand new. It's not easily used because the lamp life is 7,000. Let's just call it, if they use it in the eco mode, they reached about 5,000 or 6,000 hours of life. And then add my 800, make it like around 700 up top. So this is basically a used projector, not abused, but quite used. So know your projector before you buy. And this is not going to be a cheap projector because still these are powerful. So who is this projector for then? Definitely not for me because I don't want this size of image. I don't need it. The 135 is easily reachable for me and 150 is far more than enough. But when you go to 200, 300, this will be your option. If you're going to use this in a backyard, if you have a dedicated home, not like me, I'm living in a flat. If you're going to use it in a dedicated home, like a back door, backyard kind of like cinema, this is going to be great. You can throw a big picture onto the building itself and you can easily watch it with your family. So if you're going to use it outdoors, if you're going to show for company visuals to the big doors or buildings or big walls, you can use this in a company wall, like an entrance of a building, because it's bright. You can use it later in the evening, or you can light this up, like light your interior with this. You can use this for, many of you been asking, like, if you're a performer, like a music player or theatrical performer, you can use this to create a backdrop, like a moving backdrop. Or if you want to shoot, I don't want to say too much, but this is not ideal maybe, but if you're going to use it with Unreal Engine and create a backdrop, you can use it up top and not hit the light to the, the players or the actors that you're shooting. So you can probably do a CGI with this sort of device because it is powerful, but it doesn't have the good contrast ratio. You might need a laser or LED for that. But if you're going to do it on a budget, you can probably try this on. So probably Crestron, if I'm saying it correctly, this is like for if you're going to mash up a couple of screens together and create a big wall of images, this might be for you. But otherwise, it's not a home cinema projector, in my opinion. It's, of course, gather all I'm saying in a one package. It could be a home cinema projector for you, but not for me. So make your choice carefully. And wider you go with this projector, more happier you're going to be. And smaller you go with this projector, you're going to realize it's not ideally perfectly focusing everything because it's not designed to focus up close small images. So when you get close, you have to go wide. And when you do zoom, it's difficult to get the same amount of volume, and it's not going to be like new generation style projectors. Let me just show you by getting the image smaller, and I'm going to Go to the Forza Horizon 5, 200-inch. This is crazy, by the way, for the size. Normally, you shouldn't be doing such a stupid stuff. 200-inch is huge. I'm zooming in. Let's hold on. So this is, and I have to find the menu. So it's taking time because this thing is extremely bright and it just hits my eye when I was shooting for you guys. So thumbs up will be great. It's difficult to look at the projector because it's extremely bright. Don't look at any projector. So this is a 135-inch image. Far more than enough. Much more contrast considering the 200. But still, we are using in the eco mode. And I think this is one of the brightest projectors you can buy in the second-hand market. And it's built like a tank. So there are some drawbacks for the contrast. There are some drawbacks on the focus when you compare to the new generation projectors. But when you go wide, you will love this projector and the light will be good. But to solve the contrast problem, you might want to have like a silver or lighter gray projector screens. ALRs will be great, but I don't think that if you're going to buy it in the second hand, you wouldn't go for an ALR. Because ALR adds the budget, everybody asks the performance like a bargain style projectors. And when I say bargain, most of you expect very cheap projectors again. I just want to remind you, this is not going to be a cheap projector. This is going to be way cheaper than a brand new 4,800 or 5,000 ansi-lumen projector. But you're taking a risk. Don't forget about this. In the second hand, if you're going to buy something like this, check the bulb life. It has a chip on it. So probably they can't erase the bulb life of this device if they changed it properly. So you're going to have an idea. My copy has finished one bulb. At least the first owner told me this is the second bulb, and second bulb is at 800 hours. And the first bulb has to go around up top 7,000. So I got something between 6,000 or 8,000 hours of lamp life. So it's not abused maybe of its lifetime, but this is basically used projector, and you have to trust the seller or the product's quality. So watch out for the visual defects and stuff before you buy it. But these things are kind of like built like a tank, and parts are getting cheaper. The reason behind the parts are getting cheaper is these devices are getting old. When you get old, it's like a second-hand cars, okay? When you get old, you can't find the parts cheaper because nobody buys parts for them anymore. So if you want to invest this sort of projector, if you find the parts, find the remote control, buy it. If you find a DMD chip, or if you find bulbs for alternative brands like aftermarkets or originals, just buy them. Keep them close to you. In case of a problem, you might want to change it. As long as you have the board without the problem, controllers and the power supply without the problem, you're not going to have to pay for a lot of money. But if you do have problems on those things, well, you might regret your choice. So this is a purposeful projector, and gather this topic. Probably I will make another video just to compare it with the home cinema style projectors. You will get a clear idea whether you should be going for brightest projector for a big screen or most contrasted possible mid-ground on a cheaper budget. Because brighter you go, much more expensive projectors are coming because of the reason of you can expand the projected image size. It's not about the resolution only. So if you don't have a power, if you go around 200-inch, let's just say with a 500 ansi-lumen LED, single LED projector, you might be, but you're going to lose a lot of light and it will be very dim. So you wouldn't want to do that. So at least if you're going to do like big sizes of a 150 to 200, maybe 300, like filling up an entire theater, you might want to use this. So this could be useful for scene actors, like theater actors, if you want to get a backdrop, if you're a musician and if you want to use this at the background, if you're going to use it something like a showing your presentation on a wall, like a big wall, like a building, if you want to use it on the entrance of a company as a wall projection, let's just say you're a real estate person, or in a sales, or at least you want to show off, like, let's just say gameplays, okay? You can play games at the background, like huge sizes for people to watch from far away. But definitely this is not going to be a 4K contrasted SDR, HDR toning style new generation projector. Know this. There will be limitations, but there will be advantages. So I hope you learned a lot of things again in my videos, just like this. If you want to learn more, just subscribe to the channel, look out for the other tutorials, and probably I'm not going to use the 200-inch. I'm going to probably use the second screen in this room for 135-inch, and I'm going to record some of the, probably in the sections you're going to see the menu, you're going to see the physical part of this projector. Let me know what you think at the comment section below. And if you have similar projectors from Panasonic, NEC, ViewSonic, Epson, like 5000 lumen and above, share your experiences with the users so they can decide whether to go bright or whether to go contrast. It's up to you. Like I told you, you can solve a little bit of the problem with the screen, but I don't think in the second-hand market, people buying these things are going to buy an ALR with the big size, because it will add the cost and probably not the customer portfolio for this sort of second-hand style projectors. Let me know what you think. Again, hope to see you in the upcoming next video, home cinema and tech review.